This is That Video Game Podcast, episode 553 from May 28th, 2018. Lost to the Cubes.
Make the picture, Boston. Make the picture.
Welcome back to another episode of That Video Game Podcast. I'm your host, Boston. Joining me, as always, is Moonpear.
Hello there.
Quick piece of announcement here is there's a brand new episode of TVGP's Old Dog New Flicks. Came out on Friday for patrons at the $5 or higher level. This month's episode was Ferris Bueller's Day Off, which...
Yep. Hence my reference at the end of last week's episode.
Yeah, that's a really great movie. So if you're not a patron... Now is a really great time, patreon.com/E1M1. You get cool stuff like Old Dog New Flicks every month, or early access to Dynamic Soundtrack, or we were just talking for about, a half an hour about random stuff that turns into TVGP's Outcast every week, which is a patron-exclusive episode. Patreon.com/E1M1. Help me pay for the show. Help you get more audio into your earholes every week. And I think that's all the stuff we have here at the beginning, so let's dive into what you've been playing this past week.
Okay, so my section is going to be really short this week, I think.
Okay.
So, long outcasts be damned.
Yeah.
So, I started Owlboy after last week's announcement that it is the new Game Club game. And yeah, that game's art style is pretty impressive.
It looks so good.
It's so crisp is the thing that I love about it. It reminds me of the art style. I always forget the name of it. The Metroidvania fairy characters. One guy made it. You know the one I'm talking about as well. That's my favorite thing.
Oh my god, it's the... Keep talking, it'll come to me.
Yes, well, that game. It reminds me of the art
Dust
style.
and Elysian's Tale.
There we go. We got there.
Got it.
But yeah, the art style in that is so crisp and so well done, and this very much reminds me of that, where it's like you can tell how much effort has been put into just even something as quote unquote simple.
Well, it's like, you know, when people do a lot of pixel art style, they try to mimic a lot of the 16-bit art style, and I feel like the guy behind Owlboy tried to do like a 32-bit style. It's so detailed in the pixel work that he's doing. It's really impressive, especially seeing it in motion.
It reminds me of like the 2D games that came out on the Saturn. Yeah,
like the 32X, the Saturn, like some of the PS1 stuff that was coming out.
Yeah. The art style is really, really good. I'm enjoying the game so far. I kind of like the fact that it's essentially an action platformer.
Yep.
Like, no puzzles so far. Well, no hard puzzles so far. There's a button, you have to step on it. That can be considered a puzzle, but we won't.
Right. It's still tutorial.
Yes. But no, the game seems to be pretty fun. I'm a little weirded out by the fact that you can fly everywhere.
Yeah, it's fun.
So it's one of those things where it's kind of a platformer, but kind of not, because at the end of the day, you just fly.
Yeah.
So it feels like a bit more of a 2D adventure game kind of thing.
Sure, yeah.
Which is really, really cool.
The only thing that's tripping me up about that game is the action button is L2 instead of R2, which is always what I hit by accident.
Yep. I did the exact same thing. I mean, it might be worth remapping it, but we'll see how it goes. By the time I remap it, it'll be the Assassin's Creed Origins thing where I keep pressing the wrong controller buttons.
Well, this is how I live now, alright.
Yep. Weird. Inverted control people.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'll keep playing that. I've got another, 3-4 weeks to get that thing done, so...
Yeah, something like that.
So yeah, I'll keep doing that one. Defense Grid 2. My good old my brain isn't working, let's play a tower defense game, because that makes sense.
Right.
Defense Grid 2 is actually still really, really fun.
That's backwards compatible, right?
Defense Grid 2 is next gen.
Okay. I thought that was 360.
That's Defense Grid 1.
Okay.
Is 360. I don't know if 2 had a 360 release, but the one I've got is an Xbox
Maybe that's
version.
what I'm remembering.
It probably does have a 360 release, to be honest. It's,
it's also out on Steam.
Yes. Well, everything's on Steam these days. Surely you know that by now.
That's true. Yeah, why am I surprised about something being on Steam?
Yeah. You should be surprised when you hear Call of Duty on Steam. That's when you should be surprised.
That's true.
Which means good thing is because Activision's stupid launcher doesn't work anymore.
No, it didn't have a 360. Windows, OS X, Linux, PS4, Xbox One.
Okay, so the sequel to Defense Grid was next gen only.
Yeah.
It's really cool. I'm enjoying the fact that as I'm progressing through it, you unlock upgrades for your towers, which you can then take back into the alien missions to go for higher scores and higher medals and stuff like that. The depth of content here is a little scary. Because every single level has the story campaign mission, and then it's got basically like 20 mutators.
Oh, wow.
Where it's like, you can only use machine gun turrets. You can only, you have this number of resources, do the level with it.
Right. Super strong enemies.
Yes, the towers only do damage when the cursor is over them.
That's cool.
Yeah, so I'm looking forward to actually cycling back to the start and doing a whole bunch of those. I'm only like 2 missions away from the end of the game, so it's kind of interesting. And I've unlocked a whole bunch of special, special AI that give you a super attack. So, I mean, it's a tower defense game. There's not a whole lot you can say if you're interested in one, or if it tickles your fancy, you might want to go for that. But it's kind of cool. And I'm not going to talk more about that because this next one has stolen my life.
Okay.
So, 2 games came out this week. 2 punishing games came out this week. And I had to make my mind up as to which one I was going to play. One was the Dark Souls remastered game, which, let's face it, I am probably going to end up picking that up anyway because it's Dark Souls.
Yeah,
and I love them.
And it's still good.
Yes, Dark Souls is really good. The other one was the one I actually went with, mostly because, I'm a Game Pass member.
Oh, yeah.
I started playing State of Decay 2.
Oh, yeah.
Which, State of Decay 2 is kind of an amazing game.
Oh, yeah?
In the fact that it's State of Decay 1, except better.
Well, that's already a plus.
Yes. Let's break down number 1. Biggest hated thing from State of Decay 1, when you were not playing the game, your resources were still used.
Right.
That is gone.
Yes.
So, biggest issue with State of Decay 1, already out the window. Fantastic.
Already good news here.
Major concern for Boston. Offline, online, co-op mode. When you launch the game, you can choose to put it in an offline mode. You can choose to put it in a friends only or an invite only lobby. Mm-hmm. You can change this at any time.
Cool.
So if you want to play it, feel free, because literally you just hit start and it pauses the game when you're in offline mode.
Yeah.
If you have an hour to play with people, you can switch that to a lobby system, and it doesn't reload the game. It's just on the fly. It says, okay, creating session created, you're good to go.
Great.
Then when you pause it, it doesn't pause it anymore. It just keeps on everything running. And you can invite people in, play with them, and then when you're done with them, you can go back into the settings menu and turn it back to an offline mode. So when you pause it, it pauses the game.
That's really great.
So if that might get you interested in playing the game, that stepping stone is now not a concern anymore.
Dimebag305 in chat says, I heard it was a short game. How much have you played of it?
About 10 hours so far.
Okay.
The big thing for me is I don't know what the end game is, because it becomes, well, to give you an idea, when it comes to short games, by release day there had already been 3 people who had got every achievement in the game.
Wow, okay.
Which, if they had early access on Friday, that means Friday, Saturday, Sunday. They had 3 days to... Well, Friday to Monday, they had 4 days to play it and get all the achievements on it.
Right.
That's fine. If you want to min-max it, you can probably min-max it.
Yeah, if you want to play 14 hours a day for your streamers, then that's, someone's going to do that.
Yeah, exactly. But I'm not focusing down on the story mission, because I'm trying to experience this as best as I can in the fact I'm just playing it how I feel like playing it at any given time.
Mm-hmm.
And right now, for me, this is a spinning plates simulator to me.
Okay.
When you have 20 plates spinning at once, how many can you keep going at the same time? Because it's like State of Decay 1, you have a home base, you have survivors who live in that home base, they need resources. Medicine, food, ammo, gas, and something else. I don't know. Materials, so they can upgrade.
Oh, okay.
More survivors you have in the base, the more resources get used, but the more outposts, like you can upgrade and get outposts, which automatically add to your resources. So this is essentially just a base management sim, but the resources around your base are finite. So when I first the file I loaded in on, I jumped in, I overtook this area, I got to 7 survivors, but I only had 6 beds in this base, so people were getting cranky with me because somebody wasn't sleeping.
Mm-hmm.
And literally yesterday, I upgraded to a new location because I stripped everything bare in that original area. I'd been to all the townhouses, I'd been to all the buildings, got everything I could. So I moved everyone out to a different area now, which is a slightly bigger base. But it does the same thing that State of Decay 1 does, where you basically have reputation currency.
Oh, okay.
Where every time you do something, your account gets reputation, so you get this currency to spend on. If you need emergency resources, you can specify that in a radio and it will tell you, it'll cost you 150 reputation to tell you exactly where this thing is on your map, or you can just go and find it yourself. Completely up to you. But you use that reputation to set up outposts to increase your base, to move your survivors to a new location. You also use that as a trading currency with different survivor enclaves that pop up in the area.
Mm-hmm.
And you have a reputation system with those same survivors, so you do them a favor and they will give you better things for lower prices. You don't do that and they will become hostile on sight and start shooting at you you approach their area. But every 5-10 minutes there's new missions popping up. There's, these survivors need help, these survivors need food, there's something noise coming from this building, go and investigate it. There is now plague hearts, which is
I've seen those.
A huge beating heart that spawns in a house and fills the area with plague zombies.
Mm-hmm.
That if you take enough damage from plague zombies, you get infected with blood plague.
Right.
And then you have to take that survivor back to the home base, stick them in the infirmary and get a cure, otherwise they turn into a blood zombie.
Right.
Dimebag315 in chat says, is it harder than the first one?
So far I've kind of... it is difficult. I don't know if it's harder than the first one. Bless you.
Thank you.
I don't know if it's harder than the first one because I played probably about 16 hours of the first one over the course of 2 days, then got wrapped up in work and then came back to it like later. And I was just like, oh, everyone's dying because all of my food is gone because I didn't play it in a day or in a week. So I am done with this game.
Yeah.
The combat is still the same. The combat is a very basic combat system, which I've seen some people giving this game flack about the combat, where they're talking about, oh, well, it's only like a couple of basic swings and like a ground finisher kind of thing. And when you fight enough, you can get like one special move. It's like, they're not military, not all of them.
I don't know what else you need.
It's also, they're not spec ops.
Right.
This isn't a highly trained unit designed specifically for that purpose.
Here's my new survivor, Ryu from Street Fighter.
Yes.
It's not like...
His Bill from Left 4 Dead. He's going to help us save the world. You know, yeah, there are military people in there, but guess what? Their skill is they're really good with guns.
Right.
You know, so the very basic combat system is absolutely fine by me because it kind of adds to the realism of the world.
Right.
The finite resources I kind of like because I play Isaac, I play roguelikes. This kind of game is my jam.
Yeah.
What's the Wolfenstein difficulty? Hurt me, daddy?
Yeah.
Or don't hurt me, daddy? Just take off the don't.
Right.
It's fine. But the game's fun. I have kind of hit a wall at the moment where the difficulty just spiked a lot. Where I was trying to take a run at a plague heart, which was really far away from my home base. I took one survivor out there, I got so hurt and so damaged by it that I had to run back for my life to home base.
Jeez.
Immediately checked them into the infirmary, and then changed out to somebody else, and then tried it again, and the exact same thing happened. Which, that's fine. The area that I'm attacking this plague heart is an area that I haven't scouted. I haven't cleared out buildings. I haven't done any of the stuff to let me know that there's no zombies in those areas. So for all I know, every single house is full of zombies.
Right.
And I'm just ignoring them all and going straight for this plague heart. I ended up getting past that by literally this morning, sat down with my wife and was like, hey babe, can you help me take out this plague heart really quick? Because it's really taking so much effort. So literally she jumped in, we went there. It was touch and go for a second, but we got it done. We got the plague heart done, and then we did a little trade. She gave me an engineering book so I could teach one of my guys a new skill set. I gave her a computer skill book so she can teach her guys a new skill set.
Nice.
And then we parted ways.
That's cool.
And the best thing about the co-op system in it is the more you play in someone's world, you get better rewards when you go back to yours.
Oh, so, cool.
It does an interesting thing that I actually kind of like. If you were to jump into my world, any house that I've been to and stripped clean, you can go in and have a look, and you will get chests in there that only you can open.
Oh, okay.
Which will be loot that you can pick up and resources. So you might find a backpack of food. Technically speaking, you should drop that off at my home base so that I have the extra food. But if you are really desperate for food in your home base, we can have a conversation and I'll be like, yeah, just take it with you when you leave the game. And then you will respawn in your world with that backpack of food already on you. So you can jump in, get something that you need, and then when you leave, take it with you.
So it's, you almost have that conversation we had when we were kids and play like Streets of Rage, where it's like, hey man, can I have that chicken? Like, I have no health. You're almost on full. Can I have this one chicken? It's like, okay, all right, fine. You can have the chicken. Yes,
it's that exact conversation where you can see what's going on at your home base the whole time you're in my game.
Okay.
Or it's not decreasing yours as the days tick by in my game.
Right.
It treats yours as being an offline world, but you can see what you need. You can see, do you need food? Do you need this, that,
right, you see all your bars and all your stats.
Yeah, exactly. And anything you loot in my world, you can take with you. So you can take like scraps, parts, medicine, weapons, all that kind of stuff. If I need it, I will say, I've been playing with Kat and Jess, and I will say to them, I need medicine, I need this, I need that. If you find any of them, can I have it? They'll go in, they'll do searches, they'll drop whatever they want from me on the ground, and then I'll pick it up and take it with me. And then if they need anything, I can supply them with stuff that I've got as well.
Oh, cool.
So it becomes like a resource management sim, except when you've got the co-op aspect of it as well, you've got the whole exploring the world together. Everyone has their individual chests. Like, you or Jess will not steal something that I need by exploring these boxes, because they are not stuff that I can take, because they don't show up on my screen at all as being lootable. They only show up for you.
Yeah, it's like Diablo 3, where it's like the loot that drops is just the loot that you can pick up, and it's not...
Yep.
No one is going to come in and say like, all right, thanks, scoop, scoop, scoop.
Yeah, exactly. It's really well done, I think.
Yeah.
So far, I'm enjoying it. I'm still kind of in the starting phases of the game right now. It's been a very slow progression for me, because the way the base mechanics operate is they ask you to promote a leader. And the guy who I was focusing most of my skills on, because everybody has health and stamina. Every survivor you have has those aspects, and then if you're out and about too long, you start to get sleepy. If you fall down a cliff, you get injured, you need to take them back to the home base and switch out to a different character and take them out.
Right.
Everybody has their own individual skill sets, so some people will be better at carrying, looting, whatever. So the guy I was focusing on, he had enough rep within the community to become the leader of the community. I was like, oh, I'll do this. And I clicked it, and it turns out his leader skill was Warlord.
Oh, no.
Which it has some interesting perks on. Like, for example, it causes a morale loss, but you can fit more people in a bedroom on a large base. I was like, I'm not doing that.
Right.
I don't want to be a warlord.
This is terrible.
So I end up switching out from him to somebody else and getting them repped up, basically, so they could become the leader.
Right.
And they are a builder, which is the leader of choice for me. Fun fact, the achievement for choosing a builder as your leader was, can we fix it?
Great.
So good. Quick mention on achievements, actually. You should check out some of the art that these guys have done for their achievements.
Oh, yeah.
Like, the Neo Geo ones are hilarious because it's literally just a ring with a number on it.
Right.
And then it's a bronze ring, a silver ring, or a gold ring.
Right.
Whereas Elite Dangerous has got some really good achievement art as well, actually. But this has got like a really stylized, like 80s zombie movie poster thing for the achievement art.
Cool.
It's kind of sick. But yeah, State of Decay is really good, and I want to play it.
Yeah.
Like, can you just talk to yourself, and I'll just go downstairs and play?
Sure, yeah.
Okay, cool. That sounds like a plan for me. But no, State of Decay 2 is, I think, despite the fact that it's, 10 years after the first one at this point or something?
Yeah, quite a while.
I'm really liking the game a lot. I think they've made the necessary adjustments to make it a more enjoyable game and not as punishing.
Yeah.
I think at the time when the first one came out, like, everyone was all about the super duper punishing. We kind of still are a little bit to this day, but I think they leaned too hard into the punishing, where it's like, oh, you better play this every day, otherwise everyone's going to be dead.
Yeah, make sure you check in every day. Play State of Decay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But I think the changes they've made are good. I think the game looks pretty good. It has some minor issues, but other than that, like, I'm enjoying playing the game. It's a third-person, really cool-looking zombie survival game, which is all about, like, base recruitment and management.
Yeah.
Where you will consistently have to make bad choices. Here are two groups of survivors. You only have time to aid one of them. Who do you pick?
Right.
Oh, this person was alone in a house surrounded by zombies. You save them, they don't have anywhere to go. Do you want to recruit them? You inspect their abilities. Like, oh, you're a gardener and a 2-star gardener. I've got a 6-star gardener at my base. You go away. I'm not interested in you at all.
Can't help you, sorry.
And you send these people off to their deaths because you have to be super strict about what you're allowing to happen.
Right, only the best of the best can take up a bed.
Yes. Or in my case, the sarcastiest of the sarcastic, because right. I've got 3 people who are just constantly fighting with each other in my settlement. Every time I leave, it's like, oh, Courtney has started a fight with Ashley, and, you know, Yamanez is not happy with this. It's like, oh, come on.
Roll your eyes and you're like, yeah, of course.
Yeah, every single time. And the best thing is, Courtney has construction, which is what I need to upgrade my base. Ashley has gardening, which is what I need to feed people.
Right.
And Yamanez has electronics, which is what I need to upgrade my center of operations. It's like I need all 3 of them, and they just keep yelling at each other.
Just get along, come on.
It's so annoying. And they get into minor fights, but then the second, like, your food is, it's not even bad, it's just, it's getting towards bad.
Right.
That's when they really start kicking off at each other, and it's just like, oh, people, you need to calm down.
Yeah.
Enough of this noise. Just chill. Yeah, my survivors ain't got no chill.
Yeah, no.
But, yeah, State of Decay 2 is really good, and that's all I've been playing, because it's kind of absorbed my life.
Yeah. I played some more Destiny 2. Not a ton. I actually didn't have a ton of time to play stuff this week. But I did do step 3 of 5 for what appears to be an exotic gun at the end of the 5-week mission. It's some sort of gun dealing with the Bray family that's big for the DLC. This week's one, the previous weeks have been very much like do this step, then find something on Mars, and then turn it in, and you're done for the week.
Yeah.
This week's, the very first step was complete 10 waves of escalation protocol. And I was like, that's great. I mean, I'm always on Mars. Basically, when you spawn escalation protocol, if anyone hasn't doesn't know about this in Destiny 2, it's basically this sort of survival wave-based horde mode thing. And it's so far it's really good. Has some minor issues because it's Destiny, but overall it's been good. The first level of Escalation Protocol has 4 waves in it. I'm like, well, that's great. We just do 2.5, runs through of the first level, and then I should be done.
And then you find out it's consecutive.
No, it's way worse than that.
Oh, wow.
They got the language wrong between Escalation Protocol and the thing they wrote on the quest item. What they actually meant was you need to complete 10 levels of Escalation Protocol. Because I was finishing numerous waves, but we weren't finishing the level.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, I'm not getting any credit for this. What the hell? Because you have to complete 10 levels completely.
Yeah, no.
Which isn't that bad. It just means I'm going to be, over the course of a week, doing 10 first level Escalation Protocol. Until I stumbled upon this group who, it seemed like there were 6 of them, and they knew each other, and we got all the way through to the end of or level 3.
Nice. So
Which
you piggybacked yourself onto a Destiny group.
I did, and it was really great. I can hold my own, but they were much higher light level. Level 1 is really cool because it's very much like just fight off these hive as long as you can. It'll spawn this shadow rift, stand in it for a little bit, shoot some crystals, then fight the boss. The boss is almost always an ogre, so it's kind of a tough fight. Which is really fun. For us, level 2 was, hey, there's a public event that was going to come in before you kicked off Escalation Protocol. So now you're going to do the public event. You have to do the heroic variety, and you have to kill all the bosses. We're going to spawn a bunch of them.
Okay.
That was really tough. But in a really rewarding way, because like you were talking about with spinning plates, like, you have to fight all these bosses, you have to fight a ton of really tough enemies, and then you have to make sure that you're not doing the public event too fast, so you can turn it into the heroic version.
Yeah.
And then...
I really did love that when I started playing Destiny 2, the whole, how do you get a heroic version?
Yeah.
And then there's only like 10 varieties of public events, so really quick, everybody knows it, and everybody does it.
Yeah, they added a new one in this one. You played Destiny 1, right?
Yes.
Do you remember the Warsat Falling public event? Like where that giant thing would come out of the ground and you have to defend it? They added that on Mars for this. That's the new public event. And turning it heroic is pretty fun. And then we got to Wave 3, which was... the enemy life bars... they have the red life bar, and then next to it, in Destiny 1, they'd have a level requirement. In Destiny 2, it's just like, here's a symbol for the Fallen, or here's a symbol for the Hive. It started out where that symbol was red, which means, yo, these guys are tough.
Did it skull it up immediately?
Yeah, Wave 3 was skulls, and I was getting one-shotted and doing very little damage to enemies. By the way, this is out of 7 levels, by the way, so...
what's the max people on this?
Well, that's sort of the issue with Destiny 2 right now.
With Destiny 3?
Yeah. Check it out in fall for Destiny 3. Right now, you can only bring 2 other people with you into public spaces.
Mm-hmm.
The maximum that can join in a public space at the moment right now is 9. So
there was 7 of you.
Right. So
2 short of the max, and you tapped out at 3?
Right. And to be fair, I'm not anywhere close to max light level. It's 385 right now, I think, and I'm 355, something like that. I'm moving pretty slow because I haven't been playing a bunch of it, and also I'm not raiding, so that's putting a hamper on it. What people have been doing is what we used to do in Destiny 1 for Court of Oryx, which is, all right, I've got my three friends and I'm going to find some random blueberry that's in the same instance as I am. I'm going to send them a message and say, hey, can you invite my 2 friends? You can join us for Escalation Protocol if you want, or not, if not, get them in your party, and then, if you could kindly move on your way, and then they'll be able to get 3 parties of 3 people in for 9 people total. So that's a lot of how people are doing it right now. The Destiny community as a whole is putting pressure on Bungie, saying, look, again, for the 3rd time, you've made a really cool event that I can only bring 2 people in from a clan of 100. I need to bring, at the very least, 6 people for 5 other people for a total of 6 into a public space, or you need to do something where I can bring more people in, or like very easily we can bring a lot of people into the group. Bungie is pushing back on that, unsurprisingly, but for a surprising reason. They're not saying, well, we don't want you to bring more people into a public space. They're saying, well, we tuned this for 3 high-level people. So 3 people at the light level, like Cap said, okay, well, we'll try it with just the 2 other people. It took them 8 hours.
They're saying that's tuned.
Yeah. And so the Destiny community is like, come on, guys. You've made a really good event. Don't be Bungie. Don't screw it up. Like, come on. Because what people want to do is play it right now while the DLC is hot. Because whenever the DLC comes out, assuming it's coming out in fall for the next DLC, Mars is going to be dead. Yep. So getting the exclusive weapons and the armor for this is not going to happen, which is fine. But I'd like to have a chance at getting that stuff with a pub group rather than not getting it at all.
Yeah.
So
it's more Bungie being Bungie, let's face it.
Yeah. Which is a great segue into Iron Banner is back. It is 6v6 control, which feels really great. 6v6 has some positives and negatives. 4v4 has positives and negatives.
I like 6v6.
Yeah, 6v6 control still sucks because people forget, number 1, capture the points.
Yep.
If you have 2 points and your enemy has 1, you get more points than they do when you kill people.
Yep.
The other thing is, don't capture all 3 points because then you flip the spawns. That's not good. But of course, Bungie being Bungie couldn't screw up a good thing. Couldn't help but screw up a good thing.
That's what I was waiting for.
Because you don't get Valor progress when you're playing Iron Banner. So if you remember, Valor is the non-competitive playlist, the points you're getting for... and
it's the rep grind for...
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
For the love of God, you don't get Valor progress when you're playing Iron Banner. Why? Why?
Because Bungie?
What possible reason? What I think is so crazy is, don't put that progress in private matches because people are just going to farm that. And keep the competitive progress in just the competitive playlist. I'm fine with that. Every other PvP mode should have Valor in it. There's no reason why that wouldn't exist.
Yes, there is. It's Bungie. There you go. There's your reason.
It's one of those decisions where, like, when I went in and I played my first Iron Banner match and I didn't get Valor, I was like, well, that's weird. Is that not a thing? So I went to the Destiny of the Game subreddit, and the very first post was, you don't get Valor for playing Iron Banner, and the very first comment was, why the hell not? Mm-hmm. It's like, yeah, why the hell not? But I've been playing a little bit of Iron Banner here and there. It's still really fun to play, so even if I'm grinding a little bit in the Iron Banner stuff, the thing that I liked that they did was, in Destiny 1, Iron Banner was a little bit confusing because you sort of had to, like, equip all this iron...
No, it was not a little bit confusing.
It was very confusing.
Iron Banner was hella confusing.
You had to, like, equip all this Iron Banner stuff to make sure that you were increasing your rep as fast as you can, because your rep for Iron Banner would reset every event.
Yep.
they've done away with that, and basically you're grinding for the stuff that you want in the event for the entire season. So across Season 3, every time Iron Banner comes back, you keep your rep, and you keep the stuff that you've unlocked.
That's a good choice.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's like, okay, cool. Like I can play a little bit here. I had my first day off without the kid yesterday, so I played like 3 straight hours of Iron Banner and made
light fall from the sky.
Yeah, exactly. I honestly didn't know what to do with myself. So I was like, well, let's play Iron Banner. And how they do it, I like this system. I know it has its detractors, but basically, instead of you unlocking the ability to buy new armor sets as part of Iron Banner, every class has an Iron Banner armor set that you just get for turning in tokens and opening up engrams. Mm-hmm. What changes every season are the ornaments on it. So basically, every season you're unlocking a new set of 4 ornaments, one for each piece of your armor, that makes it look different every season.
That's kind of cool. That's really cool, actually.
Yeah, and like you never have to worry about, oh, I like how this armor looks, but it's super low light level. You just put those ornaments on, and a lot of what the ornaments are, like this time it's kill 100 enemies with your superpower, win 25 matches, and that's just over the entire season. So
yeah.
As long as you play a little bit every time it comes along, I feel like that's pretty attainable. And like the top 2 rewards, rank 30 is an emblem, and rank 35 is a ship or a sparrow. I don't remember. Every 20 tokens gets you 1 rank. Every win gets you 5 tokens, and every loss gets you 2. So
that's definitely attainable.
Yeah, just by playing, you can get probably what you want. So, like everything with Destiny, some good decisions over here, coupled with some really boneheaded bad decisions.
Yeah,
so
that sounds about right.
Yeah. I did play some Heroic Strikes this week, because there were some good modifiers this week. I really miss... Another instance of, I don't know why they did this. What I really loved about Destiny 1 is, from strike to strike, you kept your fire team unless someone left.
Yeah.
And I really love that, because if you found 2 other people that you're just flying through strikes, you can farm stuff pretty quickly, especially in Destiny 1 if you're looking for strike-exclusive loot, or if you're finding people that just play the same way you do, stick with them as long as you possibly can. They got rid of that in Destiny 2. So whenever you're...
Yeah, it bumps everybody out if you're not in a fire team, doesn't it?
Yeah, like as soon as you're done with a strike, you go back to orbit and you find a whole nother team. It's like, well, I don't want to. I like those 2 Guardians. Like, I found these 2 really great peeps, and we cleared a heroic version of one of the new strikes in 17 minutes. I mean, we were cooking.
Yeah.
And then I lost them. So, like, it's one of those things where it's like, I would play a lot more strikes if they would hang around. So, a part of the other reason is there are 2 strikes in the game that no one runs right now. One is because it's bugged. If you join a game in progress, it respawns you every 5 seconds and you can't move. That should be fixed on Tuesday. The other one is a strike they're removing from the game. Because
why?
The community hates it so much. And this is the one time I've seen the Destiny community be very excited about something being removed from the game.
What strike is it? It's called, one I would have played.
Yeah, it's in vanilla. It's called Exodus Crash. It starts out with you riding between these beams of light on your Sparrow, and it ends with you fighting. The problem is, the strike is interesting. It's the final boss. Destiny 2 has a problem with you burning down bosses. It's especially bad on this boss. You fight him in sort of this circular room, and those electrified shanks are kind of coming down all the time. And he disappears every once in a while.
Yep, now I know exactly what strike you're talking about.
Yeah, and
because you have to do a vertical platforming section to get up through
Yep.
the little hatchway at the top and then jump down.
Yep. And the problem now is, since it's a vanilla strike, it's a little bit on the easier side. Mm-hmm. So you can typically burn the boss, especially if you get, there's this modifier called heavyweight, where heavy weapons do extra damage and heavy ammo drops like candy. So you're just going to be burning through strikes. Except for that boss, because it feels very much like in The Binding of Isaac, it feels like fighting the Hush on a very strong run, where you're like, you're capping my damage potential here. And that is incredibly frustrating. So
it also doesn't help in that boss that he takes a certain amount of damage, then vanishes.
Yeah.
Then takes a certain amount of damage, and then vanishes.
And if you're strong enough, it takes like one rocket, and then he vanishes. And you fight a bunch of BS, shanks. He takes another rocket, and then vanishes. And it takes forever. So, good on them for doing that. And the real quick last thing I did in Destiny 2 that I've been enjoying when I have a couple of minutes to spend in the game, there are these things called sleeper nodes on Mars. Anytime you complete any activity on Mars, it gives you this, it looks like a key, and I never remember what it's called because it has a really weird name.
It's a glyph.
No, it looks like a key card, actually. It's kind of cool. But if you have 4 of those, you combine them into basically this item that has a bunch of code on it, and it's a hint as to where this thing goes into one of those sleeper nodes. And it'll say like Aurora observation door. And okay, well, I need to go to the Aurora complex. There's going to be a room that is going to be some observation thing, and then near one of the doors is going to be one of these. Pop it open, you get a little bit of loot. It only takes you maybe 5 minutes each, but there are 40 different ones of them, so I like getting the little clue and being like, all right, I know where the big area is. I sort of don't know where the next area is, and as you get closer, it sort of vignettes the screen, and very, very loud opera music starts playing. So you're like, okay, now I know I'm in the area. Where is this thing? And then it's a little bit of a puzzle to find out where it is.
It kind of reminds me of I can't remember what they're called, but like the little secret holes that you'd go into in Destiny 2 Vanilla. I'd be like, oh, there's a bunch of enemies down here with a boss and a chest that you can only open.
Yeah, the lost sectors. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a lot like that, where you're putting out this little puzzle and then, getting a little bit of a reward for it. But it's kind of fun to spend a couple of minutes here and there. I have 15 minutes. All right, I'll do 1 or 2 of those. It's kind of fun.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on. Pinball FX3.
Whoa. Let's rewind a second here.
Downloaded this because I thought, well, since, if you look at the number of tables that's being removed from Pinball Arcade.
Yeah, all of them.
It's like 85% of the tables. It's real bad.
When does that happen again, by the way?
June 30th, I think. If you every time you fire up Pinball Arcade, it lets you know. So I actually went through the list of games. It's like, all right, I want to buy all of the tables. I want to see how much all of the tables are going to be that I want to buy. I only bought 2 of them. I sort of already have like all the rest of them.
On Pinball Arcade or?
Yeah, Pinball Arcade.
Yeah, I keep meaning to load it up, but I'm terrified of looking at those prices.
Well, so here's the thing. Pro tip for anyone that's listening that is into Pinball Arcade. The Pro upgrade for everything is a waste of money. It's like
because that gives you the access to the stupid table operators stuff, doesn't it?
Yeah, and like you get to fly around the table close up.
I don't care about that stuff.
Yeah, that's like $3. And on top of a $4 table. That's not gonna... So each table by itself is usually about $4. The seasons are like $40, which you probably save a lot of money by going with each season. But my problem is what we were talking about a couple of weeks ago. My problem is, at some point, I'm going to put my PS4 in the closet because I'm playing the PS5 or whatever the next Xbox is. And I'm going to lose potentially hundreds of dollars of stuff that's not going to get moved over. So if I was going to spend that money, I'd probably buy it on the Steam version because
you've got access, your PC is not going to go in a closet. It's just going to get upgraded.
Yeah, I feel like there's an assumption there that you're going to be able to carry that stuff forward for a long time. So I thought, well, what are the tables I would really need? So I bought that Red and Ted's Roadshow that I loved as a kid, and I bought Star Trek The Next Generation because that's a really great table. And I have Medieval Madness and like Taxi and Pinball and like the couple other tables I would really want.
Mm-hmm.
And that's it. Because I'm not going to spend $40 a season, and they said as part of the contract negotiations, they can't sell this stuff at a discount.
Yep, they cannot do a discount at all.
Yeah, so I can't spend $40. I can't spend like $200 on a console that's eventually going to go away. So
yeah,
I feel bad for Farsight because I feel like this is probably going to sink the company. But
yeah, I don't see good things coming from this for them.
Yeah,
that's my big takeaway from this is I kind of want to buy them just so I can have them.
Yeah.
Like, I really do, because I do love me those pinball games, and Farsight make good pinball games.
Yep.
Maybe not always the best pricing structure, but their games are, generally speaking, really top-notch.
Yeah.
Like, good recreations of real-life tables. But at the same time, it's like $200 for every table.
Yeah, because they're talking about coming out with Season 8, and that's potentially another $40. I can't... I might fire up the Steam version and spend, $20 here buying the 5 tables I really want, but that's really going to be it.
Yeah.
So I fired up Pinball FX3 because I was looking through the list of DLC on PS4, and Pinball FX3 tables were coming up there, and it's like, all right, you know what? I haven't tried it out in a really long time. I should see how it is. 2. What's that?
I like 2. I think Pinball FX2 is incredible.
Yeah, and I remember you're a big fan of 2. So I fired up 3 because it's free and you get a free table with it, so you get a good idea of the game's physics.
What table?
I think they made it. So it's,
they made all of those tables?
No, it's like it's not licensed. It's like it's like a Sorcerer's Spell or something. Like it's.
Oh, you're talking about Sorcerer's Lair.
That one, yes.
Yeah.
Pinball FX3 feels better. I think where Pinball Arcade has always beaten out Pinball FX for me is the ball feels right in Pinball Arcade.
Yeah, it feels heavier. It feels like it has a solid weight to it.
Yeah, in Pinball FX, FX3 feels a little bit better, but it still feels a little too floaty. And it's one of those things where, like, I could maybe make it feel better if someone would give me, like, access to the code base and the physics slider, but I'm not sure I can communicate in words. The ball, I feel that it feels like it better than Pinball FX 1 and 2, but it's still not the level of Pinball Arcade, but it's to the point where I feel like I could probably play it and put some time into it.
Yeah.
So I bought, it comes built in with that one table. I never bought any tables on 2, so I never had anything.
I bought so many.
Yeah, I never had anything to import. But they were having a sale on the Portal table. It was like $2. It's like, oh, okay.
Oh, this is one I don't have.
Yeah, it's like, I'll buy the Portal table for $2. Like, I'll give it a try, because they have a really great menu of, here are the Marvel tables, here are the Valve tables, here's the Bethesda ones, here are the
Capcom,
Universal Studios ones,
Fox.
Yeah. And they have all sorts of bundles for all this stuff. So the UI is still pretty good. The leaderboards are great. It is way faster to get into and out of a table than Pinball Arcade. Pinball Arcade is still agonizingly slow on consoles. But I sort of want to spend a little bit of time with it because it seems like They're getting the licenses and they're getting the tables. If they get the Bally and Williams stuff, then I mean, yeah, hello Pinball FX3. That's where I live now. But
yeah,
it feels good, and I'm looking forward to putting some time into it so I can sort of solidify my thoughts on it. But
I'm trying to think of some tables that I've got that I might be able to recommend.
Some of the Marvel and Star Wars stuff seems pretty good. Oh,
there's some really good. 1 or 2 of those Star Wars tables are incredible.
They actually have a really great setting in the game to remove licensed music, and which number one is great for streamers and YouTubers. But the other thing too is next to the remove licensed music is they say, hey, we're going to remove all the licensed music in the game and replace it with just generic music. This is for YouTube and stuff like John Williams' soundtracks will get you flagged. They also said, if any people are able to, or if you're playing this, you are able to put this on YouTube and monetize this game, you are free to do so. It's like, Thank you for putting that in the game. Thank you.
Yeah.
You don't have to
putting a little note in it saying this is why this option's in there.
Yeah, like you don't have to look through somebody's Twitter account or something to find out if you can monetize that game. That's 2 thumbs up on that. Good job. So, Pinball FX3 is still good.
I'll fire up 2 and take a spin around some of the tables.
Yeah, let me know which ones I should pick up. Maybe there's a pack I can pick up and try out.
The Avengers table is really, really good because bless you.
Thank you.
Because you basically select an Avenger and the Avenger you choose calls the ball in their symbol.
Oh, cool!
Like Hulk is a green radioactive one and stuff like
that.
Nice. Marvel-wise, I think probably one of their best tables is the Captain America: The First Avenger table.
Okay.
It's kind of really cool, but no, I'll jump in. I'll have a little jump around and see.
Yeah.
I like pinball.
Pinball games are real good. All right, let's move on to my next game. This one's going to be really weird to talk about. So I sort of felt an itch to pick up a bunch of mobile games. There was a thread on Twitter. Somebody, I think it was Robert Ashley, had asked for like, hey, I just got a new phone. Can someone send me a bunch of iOS game recommendations? And I picked up one from him from that thread that I'm going to talk about here. And I picked up a bunch of other ones from other recommendation threads that I'd sort of run into all at the same time, which was weird.
Okay.
I have to give a huge shout out to Angel Eye from the community for helping me translate this game's title, because it is in Japanese, but you do not need to know any Japanese to play it. It's called Puratomo. I will put a link to the game in the show notes. I think it's only on iOS, but I have no idea because every website that it relates to this is in Japanese.
Yep.
I found it via direct link, but you can also find it. The developer's name is Global Gear KK, and you'll look for a little icon that has Japanese writing on it and a blue like tennis shoe. That's the game you're looking for.
Okay. I was waiting for a white dog with a guitar then.
No. So this is a series of games. I downloaded the other 2 that they put out. This game is really cool. It's probably one of the most relaxing and stress-free games I've played in a really long time. What it is it's a model building game, and along the bottom of the screen, when you pick a level, it has, all the plastic pieces in that plastic grid that you pop out. It has like the little plastic nubs on it. But what you're building is everyday household stuff.
That's kind of cool.
So like the very first level, there's a groove in the floor, and there are like 4 pieces, and you put together a wood door with a piece of glass in the middle. So like you put the bottom in the groove, you put the 2 wood pieces in, you slide the glass in, you put the top in. Hey, your house has a door in it now.
That's really cool.
What's even cooler is after you finish each piece, it zooms out and it puts it in this house that you can open up the house and see all the pieces that you've already built and put in there. There are
this is better.
There are 60 levels. It's totally free. If anyone wants to play it, 2 tips. One, the blue button means yes, the red button means no. And then if a little bit of text with a yellow icon pops up on the screen, that means you've put a piece in out of order. And that's all you need to know.
Okay.
One of my favorites so far is one of the harder ones I've run into. I think I'm like 2/3 of the way through this game, because each one only takes you maybe 5 minutes at most for the really hard ones. One of the ones I liked the most was putting together a TV stand with a DVD player and a TV. So basically, like, you put the wheels on the ground, you put the TV stand base in, you put the bottom of the DVD player in, then you put the tray for the DVD player, then you put the DVD in the tray, then you put the top on the DVD player, then you put, like, the top of the entertainment center, then you put the stand of the TV on, then the back panel for the TV, then you put all the wires in the TV. They have, like, three like motherboards in there, and you wire those all up. Then you put the front of the TV on, and then you finish the level. And
what's the name of this game?
It's called Puratomo. If you probably want to search for Global Gear KK, which is the developer's name, and then you'll look for a game that has an icon with Japanese writing and like a blue, like a Converse sneaker on it. I couldn't find out if it came out for Android. If it didn't, I'm going to be a little bit bummed, because this game is... yes, that's exactly the game. That's Puratomo.
Okay, if you're using Google Play, search for g.gear.inc.
There you go.
That's how you'll find it.
Yeah, they have that game, and then they have Puratomo Resort, which is just basically the same game, but a whole bunch of additional puzzles. And then they also have one that Angel Eye recommended for me, where they basically give you like a diorama, but something is wrong in it. So you sort of need to shuffle all the stuff around to make sure that you put everything back together correctly. So I can't recommend Puratomo enough. Go try it. I promise you, you don't need to know any Japanese. You even know how to unlock individual levels by putting differently colored keys in locks to open up levels. So like, you need to know zero Japanese. It's really great. So, and shout out again to Angel Eye for I thought it was a long shot trying to find someone to translate the title of a Japanese game for me, but Angel Eye came out, helped me out a bunch, and sort of explained to me why the title might be what it is. The reason why I couldn't translate the title of that game, apparently because it's a made-up word. So...
Okay.
When Google Translate was translating it as Play-Doh, it's like, well, no, that's a philosopher. That's not gonna work.
You said Plato, I had Play-Doh.
Right. That'd be great. Just a Play-Doh eating simulator. Yeah. Two other mobile games here. Next one is a mobile game called Scalak, I think it's called. Scalak. It's $2. It just came out from Hamster on Coke Games, which is...
Oh, that's a great name.
Great/terrible name. Apparently he's put out a whole bunch of other puzzle games on iOS that have been very well received that I have completely missed. I really dig this game. It also came out on Steam. Basically, how the game introduces you is you have a cube that has a bunch of symbols around it. Basically, you need to spin and manipulate the cube to put the symbols into the empty spots on the cube.
Okay.
And basically make it a one full color. So like one of the earliest examples is you have a cube and it has a piece cut out that looks like an up arrow, and you have a piece that looks like a down arrow. So you have to flip and manipulate the cube to get to the point where you can sort of slide that right on that panel. It completes the thing, you move on to puzzle. It gets to the point where eventually there are, I think, 90 puzzles in this for $2. I feel like that's a pretty great value. Eventually, you get to the point where you have a completely blank cube, and you have a whole bunch of pieces that wrap around the cube, so you're sort of trying to figure out how to spin and manipulate to just get them on in the first place, nevertheless, to get them to fit all together to complete the thing. I felt like I was getting really good at the game, and then they changed puzzles on me. So,
oh yeah, that sounds about right.
It moved from that to a grid-based structure, a 3D grid, that you then need to lay you need to lay panels on top of. I was thinking, all right, I start getting good at that after about 4 or 5. Then you need to start doing that, but you need to still start completing circuits. And that's sort of...
like electrical circuits.
Yeah, like you're matching up colors to complete circuits. And it all ramps up really, really nicely, and it never feels like you see something and you're like, well, I don't even know where to begin with this. It ramps up very, very nicely, and it does a really great job of sort of, through playing it, it really helps you try and figure out how to get through each puzzle. And I think I'm like 15 puzzles through, and I feel like they keep changing stuff up at every time. So it's called Scalak, Scalak. I'm probably pronouncing that wrong. It's out on
more than likely
iOS, maybe Android, and I know it's definitely out on Steam. It seems cool. It seems like one of those games that I can, at the end of the day, when I'm sort of laying there in bed, I can just play something that pushes my brain a little bit, and I really appreciate that.
Yeah.
And last but not least, it's really weird. Polygon had a great article about, hey, I tried out 9 or 10 Picross games. Here's my favorite one.
Best. Yeah.
Yeah, and I was like, okay, cool. I was actually as I was looking through it, I was sort of thinking, man, I need a new Picross game. The one they recommended was Picross Luna 2. So far, that has been a really great suggestion. It's free. It has allegedly, and I completely understand, allegedly has 3,000 levels in it.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Because by the time you got to Picross 1, I think had like something like 500, and that was number 1 on the DS. That doesn't include every single other one since, where people have just gotten crazier and crazier and crazier about the whole thing.
Yeah. So they have 2 modes in this. One is, I think they call it Voyage, something like that. And that is your standard move from level to level to level and build, nonogram puzzles. The thing that I like that they do is they do have color Picross puzzles, which I typically really dislike. What they do in this, though, is they automatically do the color for you. So you just need to figure out how many blocks go in each row and column. It will color the whole thing for you automatically.
Okay, that's kind of cool. Yeah. So it's the added thing of color without the difficulty of the color.
Yeah, because the thing I hate about color Picross is I'm always... in normal Picross, you're always picking between filling in a block or marking it that there's definitely nothing in there. So you're sort of juggling between the two.
It's Minesweeper.
Yeah. You're always juggling between the two as you're building your puzzle. Adding in a color is sort of... I feel like I'm always flipping between too many things. And it's sort of a pain where it's like, okay, these two, yellow, 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 or nothing there, blue, 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 nothing there. You're moving along. The part that I'm really enjoying right now is the story mode, which is the wrong name for it.
Rewind that a second.
Yeah.
Picross story mode.
A big ding against this game is the translation is terrible. It is horrifically atrocious to the point where it really, really makes no sense. I'm trying to pull up my photos here so I can... I have one here that I took a screenshot of. It's basically, you get 2 hints for every level. And I was trying to use a hint when I was too close to the solution, so it really couldn't give me a hint. And it said, thanks to this time, please complete.
Okay, so...
I don't...
Really bad translation.
Yeah, I don't know what that means. There's another one that I have here that was way worse. I'm going to see if I can pull it up here while we're talking. I might have accidentally deleted it. But the story mode is... Oh, here we go. It's during the tutorial. If you want to cancel the job, go out in drag state.
Sounds like a fun Saturday night.
Yeah, I'm not even... I don't know. Story mode is a misnomer. What it really is, it reminds me the most of Puzzle Arcade. Remember the fractal puzzles where you build a puzzle to build a bigger puzzle to eventually build a big puzzle?
Nope. We don't talk about that game anymore.
You need to hear this because this is like my new thing. Basically,
Puzzle Arcade is so good.
There are 30 sets of 10 by 10 grids, and each block in that grid is a Picross puzzle.
When you do them all, it's a giant Picross puzzle.
It's a giant picture. Thankfully, they don't have you do like the full big one. But they're trying to tell a story throughout each one of these 30 ones. I've finished like half of the first one before it... I play this as I'm going to bed, so sometimes I look at a puzzle and I go, no, that one's gonna be too hard.
Then it's time to go to sleep.
Yeah. But so far it's really good. The only ding I would have to say is because of the translation, I would not recommend this as your first Picross game.
Yeah, that might make it really difficult.
The tutorial is fine if you know how to play Picross already. And there are very, very few 5x5 puzzles. It almost immediately jumps into 10x10. And then graduates on a 15x15.
That's not too bad.
No, it's not too bad, but like...
it's got a little bit of the 5x5s.
If you've never played Picross before, I would still really recommend picking up Paint It Back on iOS. That has a really, really great tutorial. I think the initial download is free, and it gives you like a couple of packs of Picross puzzles. But God, I love Picross. And I just being able to have... I have a few must-haves for Picross games. One of the big ones is don't tell me what the puzzle is before I draw it. Don't say, like, you're going to build a heart. It's like, well, then I know how to do that on a 10 by 10 grid. Like, I know how to build that already.
Best guess your way there, no problem.
Yeah. And I feel like that encourages guessing, which is like the mortal sin of Picross. Is you never guess. You have to know that something does or doesn't go there.
Minesweeper is the exact same.
Yeah. And I feel like this game controls really well. It's easy to mark stuff. It's easy to mark that stuff isn't there. And then putting on top of it 3,000 puzzles for free. It does have ads on the bottom, and maybe like one every 10 puzzles, it'll pop up with like a full screen ad that you just like wait 5 seconds and then close it out. I feel like that's
still really good though.
Yeah, that's more than okay for a game that has 3,000 puzzles. Like, I will watch an ad for 5 seconds. That is not a problem. Like, you are not asking too much of me. So that's Picross Luna 2. Wholeheartedly recommend it if you know how to do nonogram puzzles.
Picross.
If you don't, either do an online tutorial real quick or play Paint It Back. There are a ton of really great tutorials online. And Paint It Back has a really good one. But just diving down that Picross rabbit hole again, because it's so
I'm never
good.
going to see Boston after this.
Yeah.
It was lost to the cubes.
That's right. And on that note, let's take a break. Let's talk about releases for the week of May 28th, 2018. Ikaruga, however that's pronounced, comes out on the Switch, the famed Dreamcast shooter.
The flippy cully shooty game.
Yep, comes out on the Switch. So, again, as long as that runs at a great frame rate, go ahead and pick that up.
Yep. It's really great. It's really hard. I've never really got past the second level.
Ditto. But man, watching some speedruns of that is really great. Sega Genesis Classics comes out on PC, PS4, and Xbox One. It has Toe Jam and Earl, so I will pick it up.
Ooh.
That's my only requirement. Do you have Toe Jam and Earl, and are there trophies associated with it? Sure, I'll pick it up.
Yeah.
God, that game is
never
good.
played TJ.
You would really like it. As someone who now knows more about roguelikes,
Yep.
That is a really good one. Street Fighter 30th Anniversary Collection comes out for PS4, Switch, Xbox One, and PC.
This is everything up to 5, I believe.
I don't think it has 4 in it either. And it's 1 through 3 and some other stuff.
Of course.
I'm not really the Street Fighter guy. I'm not a super Street Fighter guy.
OG or nothing.
Yeah, I think I'm like a World Championship 2 sort of guy, but that's really it. I was more of a Mortal Kombat kid.
I was never beat 'em up kid. I hate beat 'em ups with a fashion like that one-on-one fighting game. I absolutely hate them all, but I still love to play them and get my ass handed to me for about a month and then never touch them again. I
love Guilty Gear and BlazBlue though. I was starting to get pretty good at the first BlazBlue Online. I was starting to get pretty good at that, but then I stopped. I don't remember why.
Well, that's the death nail for any online play, really, isn't it? You stop playing for a day.
The meta changed. Mm-hmm. The physical release of Owlboy comes out on Switch and PS4 just in time for Game Club.
Yep. I wonder if Museum's going to pick this one up.
Yeah, maybe. Knights of Pen and Paper Plus One Deluxier Edition comes out for the Switch and PS4.
I'm starting to hate and love these names.
Yeah.
That's a really good name. The remastered edition is really good. Definitive edition.
Yep. Deluxier Edition is maybe a little too far. I really liked the first Knights of Pen and Paper, though. The second one really didn't do it for me, but playing on a Switch is probably going to be pretty good. PS4, I'm not entirely sure. I played this on iOS back when it came out, and I really enjoyed it. It's a good RPG.
Yeah.
It's pretty fun. Old Man's Journey comes out on the PS4. I keep hearing really great things about this, but I'm not getting myself spoiled on anything, so
you're avoiding everything to do with it?
Yeah, other than it's really good, you should go play it. So toss that on the Game Club list, I guess. It actually probably is already on there. Another Game Club game from a couple months ago, West of Loathing, comes out on the Switch. Go buy it.
Yeah, I really want a console version of that. I just want to be able to get more achievements in that game.
Yeah.
Because I ain't playing 5,000 games on Steam just so I can get a badge on Steam.
Right.
I will play West of Loathing once again.
I hope they figured out the control scheme on that. If they did, that for me is a no-brainer.
Yeah. That game is it's way too good.
Yeah, it's stupid good. And last but not least, Moonlighter comes out on PC, PS4, and Xbox One. This was not a game somehow I had heard about until today. This is probably a must-buy for me. This is basically a top-down adventure game where you play as a shopkeeper during the day and a dungeon adventurer during the evening. It reminds me a lot of Recettear, where you're sort of gathering materials for your shop in the dungeon and then selling them to adventurers during the day.
That sounds kind of cool.
I really recommend the release date trailer. It's about 2 minutes. It looks really, really good. Some incredible pixel art, and it just looks like it's going to be really fun. So I'm very, very excited to pick this one up. This came out of left field, and I like that there are still games like that where it's like, hey, here's an incredible game by a 2-person team that looks fantastic, and it's out on Tuesday. It's like, yes,
yep,
fantastic.
More like that, please.
Yeah. All right, let's move on to news stories. EA loses the PGA license. Is the first half of the story.
Okay. Is the second half of the story signs exclusive deal with Rory McIlroy?
No. The first half is, I think this is the least surprising thing that's happened to EA in a while. I think
Yes.
the McElroy golf game was fine. They had a year of free DLC that was pretty good. But, they lost Tiger Woods, they lost the Masters. And I feel like they were just sort of circling the drain with McElroy, and they couldn't really get traction again.
Well, it doesn't really help when every license that you're putting out, with the exception of probably the NFL and soccer game, is falling down the tubes.
Yeah. So, the PGA gave the license to HB Games, the golf club people.
Oh, no.
So, in Golf Club 2019, which is going to launch later this year, they will have a multi-stage PGA Tour career mode, the season ending with the FedEx Cup playoffs and the trophy itself, and 6 licensed real-world TPC courses with potential for there to be more added in later.
Good on them. It's a tiny studio that have made one kind of game and one really solid game, and they've got. This is good on the PGA first and foremost.
Give it to those people.
Yeah,
you read that and you go, okay, yeah, that's the right choice.
Also, I'm not gonna lie, my wife and I were in a GameStop recently. Really dumb story, and some guy asked the Floor Nugget what a good golf game was. Mm-hmm. And immediately my wife jumped in with, what type of golf game you're looking for? It's like, a golf game, like that golf game with that guy. And I was like, oh, you talking about Rory McIlroy? And he was like, yes. I was like, yeah, you might want to try Golf Club 2.
Yeah.
If you really want golf, the Golf Club 2 is probably the way you want to go.
And it's cheap now, too.
So we pointed him in the right direction towards a disc-based version of the Golf Club 2.
Nice.
And he walked out the store with Golf Club 2, and the people in the shop floor looked at us like we were Satan.
Right. How could you sell them a bad game?
Yeah.
I didn't. Next news story, Next story is The Wolf Among Us 2 has been delayed to 2019.
Oh, come on.
This is a really interesting reason, though. Normally, Telltale delaying a game is just Tuesday. But they said, quote, the delay comes as a result of a few fundamental changes here at Telltale since we first announced the game last summer. Taking this extra time will allow us to not only focus on quality, but also to experiment and iterate in order to craft something truly special, end quote.
I don't buy it. That's layoffs. You just laid off a whole bunch of staff, dude.
No, what they actually did was they totally changed their management as a result of stuff that happened after the layoffs. Apparently, what was happening is the reason we were getting so many Telltale games that were so similar was because the management was allergic to experimentation in any form or fashion.
So they just kind of wanted to keep pooping out the same stuff.
Well, they thought that because The Walking Dead Season 1 did so well, you just keep doing the same thing and it just keeps printing that money time and time again.
It works to a point.
Sure.
Destiny.
Yeah, until it doesn't.
Yes.
Apparently, the majority, if not all, of that management team is gone, and the new management team is saying, we can't just keep pressing the copy button on all these games. We need to do something different, and we need to do something revolutionary like The Walking Dead Season 1 was.
Yep.
We need to keep moving that goalpost further and further.
Yeah. I mean, like it or not, Walking Dead Season 1 was a revolution.
Oh, 100%. And just in the way that Life is Strange was, where people are like, oh, okay, we can make these games good now. Cool. All right. Maybe Telltale can do that. So good on them for taking a little bit of time and coming out and saying, like, we're going to focus on quality and, management has changed, so we can do some cool stuff now. I think that's exciting, and I think the proof is in the pudding, but if there's any studio I want to succeed again, it's Telltale. Yeah,
and I'm a little nervous because they're doing it with Wolf.
Yeah.
I don't know if you played Wolf Season 1.
A little bit.
That is probably my second favorite Telltale game.
Yeah. What I played, like 2 episodes, it's really good.
Wolf is incredible. Like, I know it's based on the Fables comics, and I haven't read the Fables comics, but I love everything about that. The setting, the art style, everything in that game was incredible to me.
Yeah.
So let's see how 2 does.
Yeah. Next news here, Battlefield 5 was finally unveiled / sort of announced this week. I think this looks pretty cool. I think it looks like Battlefield, which is good.
Yep, I haven't seen a thing to do with it. All I've seen is there are ladies, and people are mad that there are ladies.
Yeah, I sort of don't want to hit on that too much because those people are dumb and wrong.
100% agree.
If you are upset about women being in a video game, then don't play that game. And make the online space for actual women that are playing that game way better because you're just as sexist.
Yeah, also do some research into the Russian army.
Yeah, man.
Specifically World War II Russian army, specifically the ladies.
I've been reading up on some cool Twitter threads about some cool historical sniper Russian ladies, and that's a cool topic, man.
They are insane.
Yeah.
They are amazing, but they are insane.
That's some cool stuff. They also said that there's not going to be a season pass. Looks like they're going the Titanfall 2 route. Basically, just all the DLC is free. So...
Good.
That is a plus. They're saying there's not going to be loot boxes in the game.
No, there is.
They being sort of cagey about it, though. What I think they're trying to say is there are no paid loot boxes for real-world money. There are cosmetic boxes for in-game currency.
No, when they say there's no loot boxes, it's going to be exactly what it is in Battlefield 1 right now, which is there are loot boxes, you can pay real world money for them, but they are all cosmetic only.
Yeah.
I think they're trying to say there are no in-game effect loot boxes. There will be.
Yeah, the hard part is they're saying that there won't be loot boxes at all. They've confirmed to Kotaku that will not feature, quote, not feature any loot boxes. But that doesn't sound right. Like the direct quote
from... Number one, that doesn't sound like EA.
Right, like the direct quote from an EA rep is, quote, I can confirm that there are no loot boxes, end quote.
Oh, they missed the end of it. I totally forgot about that. At launch.
Yeah, exactly. Until 6 months later. I like the dropping loot boxes. I like the dropping of the season pass. They're gonna have 2 forms of currency in there. Fine, whatever. I'm just excited that they're putting out what looks to be another really great Battlefield game. A game, to be fair, I will never play because 1, I don't have the time, and 2, Battlefield is a little bit intimidating. I'm also surprised they didn't announce a Battle Royale mode, because it seems like it's already set up for that.
Well, Battlefield's, out of all of the big first-person shooters, Battlefield's been the one most readily available to just say, flick these switches, let's go.
Yeah, drop in from a plane, you already have the number of people on the map. It
seems ready for it. To be honest, I wouldn't be surprised if they're saving it for E3. It's right around the corner.
Yeah.
You know they're going to have a spot on at least one of those press conferences.
Yeah, I'm going to have a new, trailer. It'll have the release date or something. And yeah, that's what I was thinking too, is you want to show your Battle Royale, you don't show it on a May 23rd release date, you show it at E3.
Yeah, I can't help but think, again, the mystery of E3 continues, but Microsoft needs content. Microsoft needs games. I hope they don't, because Microsoft switched from Call of Duty to Battlefield a while ago. Like, they did the exclusivity deal with EA over Call of Duty, and I think they made the right choice.
Yep.
Because Battlefield keeps going up and Call of Duty keeps going down.
It keeps staying the same.
Yeah. But if they sign rights to the Battle Royale mode to be exclusive on Xbox One...
Yeah. That'd be interesting.
I hope they don't do it, because I think it's a waste of money.
Well, all those exclusives are bad. Like Destiny 2's exclusives. Those are bad. Just like Destiny's 1's were. Don't put platform exclusives. That sucks. Sucks for everybody.
Yeah. Cosmetic, yes. Content, no.
Yeah. Next news story, the Android version of the Steam Link app from Valve came out last week or like a week and a half ago. It was going to come out on iOS later until Apple approved it for release and then denied it a couple of days later. For seemingly no reason. Valve was trying to say it's not an app where you play games inside of it. It's a LAN-based remote desktop app. Like log me in, go to my PC, stuff like that. That's already on the store. It's not hard to assume that Apple is probably misunderstanding and not crazy about the ability to buy games through the Steam Link app, which we all know you can't, but
they're going to view it as that way.
They're going to view it as, I'm losing 30% of a lot of money because you're allowing people to buy games in your app that I don't get any money on. So, that sort of sucks. The other half of this is, I'm really enjoying correctly salty developers on Twitter saying, yeah, boy, Valve, it must be really tough when you try to talk to a large publisher of games on a marketplace that you have no control over and they don't reply to your emails at all. That must suck. Good stuff.
It's because Valve doesn't have a QA or a support team anymore. Valve is just a bunch of people around a campfire getting high and singing Kumbaya to each other.
Yeah.
It's just a giant cult over there.
I want to see that documentary.
Come on, if someone came out to you and said, we've filmed a Valve documentary, we've been behind the scenes with Valve for the past 2 years, it's going to be $50 to watch it.
Yes.
I would watch that in a heartbeat.
Any amount of money at this point just to see Gabe's knife collection.
Yeah, get Drew Scanlon, Danny O'Dwyer, and the Ready Player One production teams over there.
It'd be great. Man.
Behind the hidden cloth.
Next news story, Capcom is going to be releasing Resident Evil 7 on Switch. Sort of.
Okay.
So,
is it on 3 SD cards?
No, it's weirder. I'm sort of two minds of this. So, they're releasing. It's streaming. So basically, anybody can download like a 15-minute free trial just to make sure it runs on your Switch and your internet connection. And after that, you can buy 180-day, $2,000 2,000 yen streaming ticket, which is about $20. So you have, 6 months to play Resident Evil 5 or Resident Evil 7. It's going to be called Biohazard 7 Cloud Edition. 40.
So there's a giant Buster Sword.
45 megs includes access to all the game's DLC, but not the English language translation. On the one hand,
might work in Japan.
Sure, because it's a little bit more graphics intensive than the platform might be able to handle, and maybe Capcom doesn't want to put the development time into, like Doom and Skyrim and all them, refactoring it a little bit for the platform. But on the other hand, I really don't want this to catch on because streaming single-player games is sort of the opposite of what you want to do. Mm-hmm. Like, there's a Switch port of Phantasy Star Online 2 that uses a similar cloud server structure. That makes sense. Okay. That's an MMO.
Yeah, that's an MMO.
I'm okay with that. But that maybe... I have a problem with it being a single-player game.
Like I said, this might work in Japan. They've got the public infrastructure to possibly get this to work. This ain't gonna work anywhere else.
No. Bandwidth, gaming streaming services, and throttling and speed for the rest of the world just sucks.
Yeah. I mean, we drove 2 hours to go whitewater rafting. Patreon.com, listen to the Outcasts.
Right.
And throughout that drive, I had a good 3 or 4 sections driving past places where people live where I didn't have cell service.
Right.
They ain't got fiber. I can guarantee you that right now.
Yeah, I mean, like, I live just outside of San Diego, and I don't even have fiber access. Like, I don't even have the potential for fiber. Nevertheless, anything else.
Well, hopefully it dies in a fire. And I don't say that, especially about Resident Evil 7 lightly.
Yeah.
But hopefully it dies in a fire.
Or at least it's market specific. You want to start putting out more stuff like that just in Japan, that's fine. More people get to miss out on it being on Switch, which is a real bummer. But, we'll see.
Yeah.
Something that isn't a bummer about re-releases, though, is Sega has finally announced the 3 PS3 Yakuza titles are going to be remastered for PS4.
Good.
This is what I think they're doing. What I think they're doing correctly is, since these are PS3 games, they're just bringing them up to 1080p 60 frames a second, and that's it. That's all you need to do. Sure, they're not going to look as good as, 0 or 6 or any of these other stuff, but that's fine. Like, you'll have 7 mainline Yakuza games available for one platform. I think that's pretty incredible.
Yeah. Do the re-release. Don't do the remaster. Do the re-release.
Yep. That's all we want. Like, at this point,
just stick the horsepower behind it and see what you get.
Yeah, at this point, you put 3, 4, and 5 out 1080p and 60 frames a second. That's fine. I'll play them. I would have done that for the PS2 versions of the game after I loved Yakuza 0 so much. I feel like they're doing a really great thing by striking while the iron's hot. They have not announced a Western release, but all 3 of them came out over here, so I'm hoping that's a little bit better, gives it a little bit of a better chance for it to come out over here.
Yeah.
And they're selling really well over here. Justin W. asks in YouTube chat, would you pay $100 for a 3-pack? In a heartbeat.
Yeah.
They could sell me all 3 of the games for $40 a pop, and I would buy them.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's T-Bone, by the way.
Oh, hi T-Bone. But I think if you are interested in the Yakuza games right now, buy 0, start with there. It's like $30 in a lot of places now. And if you like the rest of them, vote with your wallet and say, yo, we want to see more. Because I want to see more. Next news story, we only have 2 quick ones here. Speaking of the PS4, Sony has said the PS4 is entering the final phase of its life cycle.
Which? What's entering the final phase?
The PlayStation 4. Which is a really weird way of saying that, which you can tell that's investor speak, because they told it to analysts and investors. What they really mean is the sales of the PS4 have already hit its apogee. That happened in 2016, where they sold 20 million units in 1 year. The PS4 in 2017 sold 19 million units, and they're only expecting to sell 16 million units this year. So what I think they're really saying to investors is, hey, the real boon times, which is crazy when you're talking about 20 versus 16 million units, those real boon times are over, because we have hit market saturation for the large part.
Yeah.
So don't expect us to come out of 2019 with 25 million units, consoles sold. That's not going to happen again. They did, however, say that another PlayStation console is probably about 3 years away, which is a...
Does that put it in the 10 years?
Yeah, maybe just shy of that, maybe 8 years. But
that's about right, because normally it's the 2-year crossover.
Yeah, which I have enjoyed a lot, because there have been a large and vocal component of the internet saying the PS5 is going to be coming out in 2019. That's insane.
Yep.
That's not going to happen. Sony needs to save as much as they can to make a very powerful console to come out and beat the Xbox One X or whatever Microsoft's going to do next time.
But that's my big question is, like, the X is powerful.
Yes.
The X is very, very powerful. Do Microsoft wait and see what Sony does and then drop it like it's hot?
Yeah.
Or do Microsoft just say, no, it's the X for the next 6 years and then drop it halfway through Sony's life cycle?
I mean,
so that we end up with this off-cycle thing where instead of them both coming out and competing, it's now
a couple of years staggered.
A couple of years away from each other, so then you get the big Sony boom and then the big Microsoft boom, and then Nintendo dropping whatever they can in between.
I was actually going to mention, I bet that Sony waits to see what Microsoft's going to do. Like, they wait for as humanly long as they can, like, as long as they humanly can, just to try and beat whatever Microsoft puts out again. They have market saturation right now, so technology, I think for a lot of people, doesn't really matter. But I think it will for the next gen, because 4K TVs are getting way cheaper. HDR is becoming a thing that more and more people in the know are understanding, and they're getting with 4K TVs. So, like the TCL TV I want to buy, a 55-inch TV with 4K and Dolby 10 HDR for $500. That's affordable.
Range.
That's not $6,000 that it used to be. That's an affordable. Vizio will start coming out with a bunch of TVs that are about the same price with the same capabilities. That bottom dollar price will start pulling further and further down. So that stuff's going to be more important for the next one.
If this is the case, I think, again, trying to predict what Microsoft do every E3 is kind of bonkers. I think they have to drop the X. If they hear this news story and they're like, there isn't going to be another Sony platform in 3 years, I think they're either going to wait out themselves and be like, okay, well, we've got the X. Mm-hmm. That's guaranteed the most powerful for at least the next 3 years. Let's let the sales on that continue to rise. Or did they just drop the price on it and take the market out?
Yeah, God, I don't know.
Did you know, even at $500-$600, they're making a loss on those things.
Oh yeah, that had to have, at the very least, the R&D cost to develop it had been through the roof. But I'm sure the per unit price is more than that.
Yep.
Yeah. Interesting.
It's that time of the cycle again, folks, where things get real weird real fast.
E3's coming up, so who knows? I know, no consoles this year. That'd be crazy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Hold on, we still have a Nintendo on the scene.
Yeah. Here's the 4DS. Woo!
Don't say
the
that.
2DS XL2.
Don't give them ideas, Boston.
I'll just cut it out of the episode. Let's move on to questions here. T-Bomb Rocks on Discord asks, with Bloodstained Curse of the Moon being delayed 2 weeks with less than 24-hour notice on Xbox and 3DS, what's the most memorable or disheartening delay for a game so close to release? The one that jumps out to me is ToeJam and Earl 3. That was announced for Dreamcast, and I picked up a Dreamcast specifically for it. And then...
It never came out, did it?
It never came out on that. It came out on the original Xbox, which is why I bought an original Xbox. And I think it got canceled like a month or two. It not only got canceled for release, they were like, yeah, I don't know if it's coming out. I was like, no, why? Thankfully, the Dreamcast and the original Xbox are both great consoles, but...
I'm trying to think. Scalebound, although that wasn't really a close or a surprise when you get right down to it. I mean, my big problem is I tend not to follow the show news aside, but I tend not to follow like the updates from game developers. Below was pretty sad because I was kind of getting really into that, but that thing looks like it's supposedly coming out this year. I'll believe it when I see it installed.
Yeah, I feel like that got pretty close to release at least twice. That's a really good choice. because I keep getting excited, and it's like, all right, it's coming out this quarter.
Yep.
All right, no, it's delayed a year. All right, okay, I'll wait. Oh, it's coming out this month. All right, nope. Okay, delayed 2 years. Okay.
I think I learned way back when, like, you're talking like N64 GameCube days. Like, I learned back then, don't trust anything to come out either on time or in good shape.
So that cartridge is in your hot little hands.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I ended up getting super duper excited about everything every E3 without fail. I can't watch it with my wife because we're both prone to the hype train.
She has Amazon open on her phone.
Yeah, exactly.
There's another one for the pile.
Gets pre-ordered.
Yeah.
But at these points, nowadays, it's just, okay, I'll get excited when I see that installation bar going.
Yep.
Like, again, credit to my wife. I came home on Tuesday from work and State of Decay was already installed.
Oh, that's nice.
Because she knows I'm excited, and it's one of those things. It's like, get to come home and just straight away start playing a game I'm hyped for.
That's really nice. I do that for my wife with PS4 firmware updates.
Yep.
Where it's like, no one wants to sit through and wait for this stuff. I'm just going to do it, keep Destiny patched for you.
Yeah. It's like if we're playing a game together and one of us sees an update, we'll switch on the other one's console and update it, because
true love.
That's when we know.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know.
Death2K in Discord asks, finished God of War, great game, 2 thumbs up. However, felt rushed to finish it before getting hit with any spoilers. And then jokes, I couldn't believe it was all a dream. That's a joke. Question, when was the last time you felt rushed to finish a game? For me, it was God of War for sure, but even on this generation, it was Persona 5. Because it had been out in Japan for 6 months at a minimum before it came out over here. So I knew as soon as it landed over here, internet trolls were going to be like, hey, here's everybody dies in the end. You know, that doesn't happen in Persona 5. But I feel like that's the big one for me lately.
I've got a good answer for this one.
Okay.
And it's good considering I still haven't even beat the game. Mass Effect Andromeda.
Yeah. Jimbo Jangles in chat says Mass Effect 2. That's a good choice, too.
I jumped into Andromeda with a full head of steam, being like, I will beat this before I get it spoiled. That was a year ago? I still haven't beat that game.
I think a lot of people didn't even care enough to spoil that.
Yeah, exactly. So I got away kind of lucky on that front.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like there's very few big games like God of War or Persona 4, like the Mass Effect 2 especially, where that many people are playing it and that many people want to troll it. There's a lot of games that people get trolled about, but like not that often in a serious manner.
Yeah, I mean, Assassin's Creed is a good example of that, because how'd you spoil that game?
Right.
You kill people.
Let me tell you something about the space ladies. It's like, I don't...
Without context, that stuff means nothing.
It's like, I don't care. I care. I care about the space
spoiler
ladies.
for Destiny 2, Bungie still can't develop for anything, so...
Yep. Can you go to another planet? Oh no,
folks.
It's the Hive!
It was a joke. Don't at me.
Yeah,
I like
don't
Bungie.
at me. Servo in Discord says, recently I've been playing State of Decay 2 with some cheats/mods enabled. I'm enjoying it more than the base game. Has there ever been a quote-unquote bad game you turned good by adding cheats or mods to the experience?
Crackdown 2 Fun Pack DLC. Technically not cheats, but that changed that game.
That's a good choice. I feel... Oh, God.
Tired?
I feel very tired, yes. I have not been sleeping worth anything for like...
And now you got me going.
Gotcha! And I got a whole bunch of people at home!
Now we got the listeners too, just to make things better.
My evil plan. I was going to say, like, I haven't been sleeping very well in the last, 2 months, but it's really the last 18 months.
Yeah, right there with you.
Maybe a couple of months before my kid was born. I feel like this is the story of my life for first-person shooters. I'm not super great at first-person shooters most of the time, especially during the 90s when they were really hard and, each level was 30 minutes long and there's 45 levels. I'm going to put God mode on and I'm going to give myself every gun and I'm just going to, maniacally cackle my way through this game drenched in blood.
Yeah.
Officer.
I feel like this is the entire story of gaming right up until the 360 generation for me.
Yep. I'm going to plug my Game Shark in.
I would play a game, I would beat a game, and I would love it, and then I would go back and I would destroy it with cheats and have so much fun.
Yeah.
Tony Hawk's skating games are a really good example.
Yeah.
Those are some 10 out of 10 games, and then you stick moon gravity on, and then you just have an absolute riot as you literally hit the ceiling of the level.
13 out of 10.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And last question here from Late Elf in Discord. How does being a content creator play with extended family? I have found that most of the people that I'm related to, my brother listens to the show. Hi, Steve. They don't care.
Yep.
Like my parents will say, "Are you still doing the podcast?" And I'll say, "Oh yeah, we just put out episode 553," and they go, "Wow, that's a lot." And that's it.
They only hear the number.
Yeah. And they know I've been doing it for now almost 11 years. But beyond that, they're not going to listen to a show about video games. If I made Serial, the world's most listened to podcast, they'd probably go, "That's nice. How many people? That's a lot of people." And they wouldn't listen.
Yep.
Not out of malice. It's just like, okay.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure I told my family back in England about when I first started doing the show. As Super Hungry can attest, this show airs late in the UK live. So they are not going to want to understand how to use podcast or feeds
right.
or RSS
Twitch
to listen.
Right.
And B, if we start at, let's say we start at 6 p.m. our time, that's midnight England.
Yeah.
11 to midnight depending on time of the year. So,
on a Sunday.
Yeah. So they ain't gonna watch that. I lived in England and was a fan of the show, and I could never watch it live because of that time thing.
Yep. Yeah, it's also a minor generational thing too with podcasts, where podcatchers are built into a lot of platforms now, but it's still like discovery and doing it and setting aside time, and it's not a priority. And like I said, it's never malicious. It's just my parents don't care about video games to listen to a 2.5 hour recording that we've been doing. Like
week after week as well. That's the best thing. I think, to be honest, the only people in my life who would be interested is my wife listens
as a spy. Listen to our PS4 talk.
Spying. Yes, and then tweets about it.
Me,
and gets one of the hottest tweets.
I'm poisoning you.
Yes. But she listens to it mostly so she can get involved with the community, because she's being more active with the community in some weeks than I am.
She's like our Marvel Strike Force squad leader at this point. Like, she knows all the strats.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
And I think maybe her younger brother would listen if he ever actually give the time to it, but he wouldn't pay any attention. He would hear, "Hi, Ben," and none of the rest of the episode.
He's got stuff to do.
Yes, exactly. Because he's 14, 15, 13, 12.
Yeah.
He's a teenage boy. He's got more important things to do.
Yeah, like Fortnite.
Yes. And Rocket League.
Yeah. All right, thank you so much, everyone, for your questions. We always appreciate it. And as this is the end of the episode, I'm so tired. I appreciate you listening to this episode. If you'd like to visit us, you can do so at tvgp.tv. All the links on the right-hand side of the page, including the link to the Discord server. Like I was saying, you got questions about Marvel Strike Force, join the Alliance and ask Moonpear's wife, Bearded Lady. She's got the answers. She knows. I'm very impressed. She's got the strats and she's got the plan for the raids. She's got it down. So,
excuse the phrasing here. When she goes in, she goes all in.
Yes. Don't forget to play this month's Game Club game, Owlboy. And we were talking about the Outcast just a little bit ago. If you'd like to listen to the exclusive Patreon episodes of the Outcast, patreon.com/E1M1. Like I said at the top of the episode, you get early access to some episodes, exclusive stuff, show notes, behind the scenes, all sorts of cool stuff. You get to every other month get to vote on the Game Club game. So if you really don't like us, throw in a couple of bucks to make us suffer. That's got to be worth something, I think. And watch us live, Twitch, YouTube, Mixer, Smashcast. Subscribe to us on all those places. It'll let you know when we go live. We'll see you all next week.
Bye-bye. from Hot and Sweaty.
I feel like I missed something in there, but I don't.
Tired and sleepy.
Yeah, hot and sweaty and sleepy.
Yep.
All right, I've got
ODNF. That's what you probably missed.
I've got 6 titles. Hit me with your titles.
I've got so many. Keep talking, it'll come to me. Can I have that chicken? My survivors ain't got no chill. Sarcastica of the sarcastic. Piggyback yourself. Skull it up immediately. Lost to the cubes. Flippy collie shooty game. At launch. And I hope it dies in a fire.
At launch is really good. I have This Is How I Live Now. Bill Saves the World. Can I Have That Chicken? Sarcastiest. Lost to the Cubes. Go Out in Drag State. And At Launch.
Jimbo's got a really good one in chat.
Telltale Delayed, that's just Tuesday. Yeah, that's a good one. A little long, though. Lost to the Cubes is really good. Can I Have That Chicken is pretty good.
Yeah.
At Launch is pretty good.
The 3 I'm leaning towards are, because it's hard to pick one of these, to be honest, is Can I Have That Chicken, At Launch, and Lost to the Cubes.
I sort of feel like picking Lost to the Cubes. I like that as a... It sounds good. It also sounds like the title of an indie puzzler.
An indie puzzler and an 80s movie.
Yeah. Like an 80s bad B horror movie and an indie puzzler that has a very sad story and someone wrote violin music for it.
Yes. Also, my pen has run out again.
Oh no.
I can't circle the show title.
Well.
And I apologise to everybody listening who just heard that rattle down their ears.
Scratch, scratch, scratch. Alright, let's get started here in 3, 2, 1. This is That Video Game Podcast, episode 553 from May 28th, 2018. Lost to the Cubes.
Make the picture, Boston. Make the picture.
I will.
Yes, we know.
Alright, thank you so much, everyone, for watching and listening. We'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye-bye.
And we're done.